Welcome back to Petology. I'm your host, Blair Malostravich, and I'm joined by Michelle from Winnipeg Pet Rescue. And who is this you have?
This is Chicklet, actually.
Chicklet. Now, we talked about older dogs earlier in the show. Tell us how old Chicklet is.
Chicklet's 20, going on 21 now.
20.
So she's like a little antique, yeah.
20 years old. This
Yeah.
dog was running around with the other dogs that we have here. Amazing. Let's talk about really the quality of, we'll get back to the rescue, but because we're on older dogs, I want to talk about how important is it for older dogs to have the best years of their life as they get older?
Well, absolutely. I mean, generally we get dogs, we bring them into our home as companions for ourselves, right? They kind of serve us in essence, right? Either, walking companions, whatever, guard dogs, so on and so forth. And I mean, when they become seniors, I think it's important that it's now our turn to take care of them.
Of course.
That's how I think we kind of look at it. It's kind of whatever they want, they get at that point. Yeah.
Now, do people come, when people come to Winnipeg Pet Rescue, are they always looking for younger, or sometimes they're looking for older?
Generally younger, but it depends on the family, to be quite honest. We try and encourage a lot of people to sway towards the older. Puppies are great, they're cute. It's no different than human babies. Everybody's cute when they're babies and everything, but they all do grow up. And it depends what your family needs are. Having a puppy is a lot of high maintenance and everything, and if you can bring in an older dog that's already trained, or perhaps you can offer them that home, that special needs home that they're looking for. So I think that's what we pride ourselves on, is setting up the right home to the right animal.
And that's very important. You mentioned babies, of course. If you have a couple human babies running around, it might be extra hard to have a canine baby running around, of course, or canine pet, or pet of any species. There we go. I can talk. I really can. So let's talk about Winnipeg Pet Rescue. How did it all get started?
We actually got our charity status in '99. Basically, it was started because we felt there was a need for a no-kill environment for animals. Instead of having a timeline where they're euthanized after a certain portion of time, we felt that it should be an indefinite amount of time. There is a family for everyone, so that's how we got started, and since then we've just kind of kept expanding,
So why did you, a lot of people who get involved in these things, from the people that I've met through the show and through my job with Shaw TV, I've met a lot of great volunteers and stuff, but I want to know how you got into it.
How I got into it? It's a good question, actually. I came from the military, so I just accidentally came upon it, to be quite honest. Younger, my mother used to actually run a humane society in BC, so I guess we were always surrounded with animals, all the time. And then, I just got into it as soon as I came to Winnipeg and have stayed with her since. So I've been there 18 years.
Wow.
So long time. I started when I was like 3.
Wow. So you got a little bit of experience.
A little bit.
Let's just say that. So, of course, when we talk about the shelter, you guys, a big part, you have volunteers as well. How important are they?
Volunteers are incredibly crucial. I mean, we couldn't do our work without the volunteers, whether it's volunteers that bring in newspaper that we use for the puppies. We have volunteer dog walkers, volunteers that just come in and, pay attention to the cats and help the staff, just even cleaning and everything. Like, everything has to be done every day. The animals need a ton of attention, so volunteers are imperative. I love our volunteers. So I think any rescue could say the same thing, and volunteers are just crucial.
And it must be hard, I'll be honest with you, it must be hard when you see a dog that comes in, or a pet that comes in, and isn't finding that forever home, as we say. How is that? How I always wonder how people deal with that.
I don't know. I think you just end up spending a lot of extra attention with them. I think I have the most incredible staff base. We end up taking a lot of them home, to be honest. The unadoptable ones end up always going home with staff. And, thanks to social media now, you're able to promote them a lot differently. It's not like the old days where, you waited for people to walk in, or there was ads put in the newspaper and everything. Now you have social media to help promote some of these animals. And again, there is someone for everyone, whether it's an older animal, an animal with special needs, a scared animal that's gone through a traumatic experience, medical needs, you name it. It's just finding that right home and reaching those right people.
Yeah, and you probably have to be really honest with yourself what your needs are and what
Absolutely.
And what the animals need, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't just be like, I want a gigantic dog, but I live in a tiny apartment.
Well, exactly, and that's, you run into that a lot of the time too. Everybody wants a puppy, and you have something, for example, like a husky puppy, and everybody loves the little husky puppies, little blue eyes and everything. That's a very high maintenance breed, or mix. So you want to make sure you match it out to the right home, because otherwise what's going to happen 6 months later, too high energy, chewing up the doors, whatever, then that's when you're going to get called to have them returned. So we pride ourselves on matching the right home to the right
So say someone's coming in to create that right home. What are some of the things you're looking for?
Well, I guess it depends on the animal. We're looking for a stable environment, whether they own their home or rent, because a lot of renters don't, allow animals. What kind of exercise are they looking to provide the animal realistically?
Yeah.
A lot of people, once I get a dog, I'll start walking every day and everything. How realistic is that though? Do you do that already? And size of the yard is great, but it's not, used to exercise the animal so much. Like you want it to become part of the family. Do you have children, and are the children great with animals, and is this particular animal good around children or nervous? So, and if you have babies, again, do you want another little puppy,
What would you want to say to somebody who's thinking about getting a pet?
A pet, about the responsibility. They could live a really long time.
20 years, that's right.
And it's a lifetime responsibility. Like to me, it's no different than taking on a child. And as they get older, and if they become special needs, it's no different than having a special needs child. It is your responsibility. I think one of the most heartbreaking things of rescue is the calls, and not always the best reasons for giving up an animal, whether it be a breakup or whatever. You don't give up your kids as easily as you give up a pet. And unfortunately, I think anybody in rescue can say the same thing. You hear a lot of poor, excuses for giving up the animals, but they end up in rescue, and then we rehome them, and
sometimes that might be a better place.
Exactly.
For them, right?
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who wants to volunteer? What can they do?
Oh, I mean, definitely come on down, see what the shelter is all about, or whatever shelter's in their area. I'm sure everybody could use volunteers. And find out exactly what they're interested in doing and volunteering. Like we have people that just come down and do dishes. It's amazing.
Right. It's about having a big heart, and if you have a lot of heart to give, that's a great way to give back to the community. It's a human community, and you also have the animal community, which is perfect.
Exactly, and for ourselves, like we don't, people aren't confined to a certain period of time that they're able to volunteer. Some people come in for half an hour, like once a week. Some people are there for like 3 hours, 3 times a week. It's all on them. You're volunteering your time, which is super precious, right? So we relish anything that people have to give.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, from the Winnipeg Pet Rescue. We are going to be right back in a little bit, but we're going to take a look when we get back about pet photography. See you in a sec.